Show 99.1, 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 7:20 p.m. and a rebroadcast of the next day at 11 a.m. just in case you missed that program.
I'm in a rush. Digital got me in a rush. Driving style for the summer. Digital summer rush.
Nobody's doing it big like Digicel this summer. Top up with $1,000 or more and collect the letters to spell the word RUSH for a chance to win one of 3 brand new Toyota Rush SUVs. Yes, you heard it right. 3 brand new Toyota Rush SUVs.
Driving style for the summer. Hey, Digicel summer rush.
Start topping up now.
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Good evening. Welcome to this evening's newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio. Kevin Smith here. Let's get to the news in detail. Guyana and other emerging oil producers are being urged to pay rapt attention to a recent analysis that was conducted by the Natural Resource Governance Institute. That analysis revealed that 26 of 28 sub-Saharan African countries failed to reap the benefits from their natural resources. The Institute's report attributes this failure to an implementation gap between the laws that govern the extractive industries and the practices in reality. Specifically, Silas Olang, Africa's co-director for the Institute, said that if countries in sub-Saharan Africa closed the implementation gap and fully implemented their own laws, they could generate greater income from natural resources. And in other news, if Guyana wants to ensure there is early consideration of local content, then it would be wise to request that oil companies embed opportunities for maximum use of indigenous goods and services, as well as the training and hiring of Guyanese in their field development plans. Making this assertion was Dr. Valerie Marcel, an associate fellow of Chatham House for its Energy, Environment and Resources program. Dr. Marcel made the foregoing comment in relation to questions premised on a Chatham House policy paper. That document noted that integrating local content objectives into procurement and engineering strategies for the company's field development plans can significantly increase the impact of efforts to benefit the local economy. During discussions on this recommendation, Dr. Marcel acknowledged that indeed it is a critical area that could be used to maximize local content capacities. And now let's tell you, if Guyana intends to be successful with the governance of its oil sector, it must ensure that there are clear oil-related policies and systems to ensure accountability of the oil wealth to come. This was recently noted again by Chatham House. The London-based body recommended that policies for the oil and gas sector be guided by a clear vision for the development of the country and a strategic view of how the petroleum sector will deliver that vision. Speaking to other guidelines, Chatham House warned that the rush to adopt international best practices may not always be appropriate in the case of emerging producers in the oil and gas sector. Instead, Chatham House said that the government should aim for more appropriate practices, taking account of the national context. And moving on, DDL and subsidiaries disclosed yesterday in its 2021 interim report that in the period under review, it made significant progress to protect the Demerara rum brand via an application for geographical indication in the European Union. Geographical indications protect products against misuse or imitation of the registered name and guarantee the true origin of the product to customers. These rules ensure producers in given geographical area have collective rights over the product as long as certain requirements are met. And moving on. Rescued on Thursday last by residents of Nandi Park, East Bank, Demerara, was a 13-year-old girl who was reportedly abducted, raped, and then thrown out into the streets. Kaieteur was told it was during the early afternoon hours that the residents' attention was drawn to cries of a traumatized and lost little girl. Concerned, they ventured out to render assistance. Sources related that it was quite evident that something was wrong as the girl continued to cry and lament that she was lost and wanted to go home. Worrying about her well-being, public-spirited citizens hired a taxi and transported her to Providence Police Station. Investigators who received her said they subsequently learned that she was reportedly abducted by a man in a white car and allegedly raped before he dumped her along the East Bank public road. And moving on, detectives have detained 2 persons after a 24-year-old man was found dead yesterday with gunshot wounds to his left side chest and his right arm. The dead man has been identified as Kieran McPherson of Defield, Sophia. His remains were discovered around 4 hours lying in a yard in Seafield, Sophia. According to police, they had responded to a call from a woman notifying them that a man was lying motionless in a yard with what looked like to be blood on his skin. Detained for questioning in connection with his death are a 28-year-old woman and a 20-year-old man. That should be a 21-year-old man. Detectives are working along with a theory that McPherson's murder might have stemmed from a triangular love affair. And now let's tell you, ever since the start of the Industrial Revolution in the late 1800s, when humans started burning massive quantities of fossil fuels, there has been a continuous climb in global temperatures. This human-induced crisis has led to an increase in extreme weather events such as heat, wildfires, flooding, droughts, cyclones, blizzards, and rainstorms. Currently, more than 1,000 wildfires are raging across the world as the effects of climate change intensify. The Guardian, for example, recently reported that wildfires are raging across Europe and North America as scorching temperatures and dry conditions fuel the blazes that have killed many while destroying the livelihoods of others. In fact, the combination of extreme heat and prolonged drought has led to some of the worst fires ever witnessed in almost a decade. In Greece, fires have raged across the country for nearly 2 weeks, leaving dozens needing hospital treatment. And with that, we've come to the end of this evening's newscast. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening. Coming up at 19 hours 20 is the Glenn Wall Show. Tell it as it is. Do